You ever wonder how a self-driving car can spot a stop sign in the middle of a downpour? Or how a piece of medical software can find a tiny, almost invisible spot on an X-ray that could save a life? Well, the secret, or at least a huge part of that secret, is something called image preprocessing. So let's dive into what that actually is and why it's so incredibly important.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. Manipulation. That sounds a little shady, right? But trust me, it's the perfect way to kick this off. We're talking about controlled, purposeful, and strategic manipulation. And to really get why that's not just a good thing, but an absolutely necessary one, we've got to look at a classic case of failure. So this is a story, a bit of a cautionary tale, really. It's all about the massive gap between the squeaky clean world of a laboratory and the messy, chaotic reality of, well, everywhere else. All right, put yourself in this scenario. You spend months, maybe even years, building this brilliant facial recognition AI. It's designed to be crazy accurate. So to train it, you feed it the perfect data set. Thousands of pristine, beautifully lit studio photos. You know the type. Clean backgrounds, perfect angles. Your model just soaks up this ideal, sanitized data and learns flawlessly. And now, it's launch day. Time to put your creation out in the real world, where it's actually needed. But here the lighting is awful. There are weird shadows everywhere, and people are walking by at all sorts of odd angles.
And just like that, boom, it's useless. It fails completely. And it's not because your model is dumb. It's because it was never prepared for the messy, unpredictable conditions of the real world.
And that right there is the whole point. Pre-processing is that essential bridge. It takes all that chaotic, unpredictable data from reality and cleans it up, preps it, so the clean, precise world of math and algorithms can actually make sense of it.
So, what is this strategic manipulation all about? Let's get into the nitty-gritty and look at the actual definition.
It's really all about fine-tuning or boosting certain features in an image that are important for a specific task. You know, it's kind of like prepping your ingredients before you start cooking. You have to wash, chop, and measure everything before you can even think about making the final dish. In this slide, it's the perfect illustration. See, we've got the exact same base image here, but just by applying different transformations, we can pull out completely different information. One version pops the color, another cranks the contrast, and a third one goes grayscale to focus just on shapes and light.
So here's the bottom line. You just can't skip this. I don't care if you're building a self-driving car, a medical diagnostic tool, or a high-tech security system. Pre-processing is the foundation that makes everything else work.
Okay, to make this even more intuitive, let's try an analogy that I'm pretty sure most of us have some experience with. Think about a car stereo. On one hand, you could have a super basic setup, right? Maybe just one knob for volume and another for tone. But on the other hand, you could have a high-end system with a crazy multi-band equalizer, all sorts of effects processors, subwoofers, the whole shebang. They both play music, but the level of control and the final quality, worlds apart.
And what's really cool is how perfectly this maps to what we're talking about. That simple volume and tone knob, that's like your basic image corrections, resizing or cropping. Using that fancy equalizer to tweak the bass and treble, that's like modifying an image's contrast and brightness. Adding those special effects is just like applying filters to sharpen things up. And soundproofing the car to get rid of road noise, that is exactly like reducing noise in an image.
So let's move on and see how this whole process of tuning and cleaning can turn a giant, messy pile of data into something genuinely valuable.
You know, in the AI world, you always hear people say, the more data, the better. But that comes with a massive catch. Having a tidal wave of data is totally useless if you can't get any clear insights out of it. I mean, most real-world image datasets are just a mess. They're full of inconsistent lighting, different resolutions, weird camera glitches, and just tons of random noise from all over the place. If you feed that raw junk straight into a model, you're going to get garbage results, because the model just can't find the real patterns. And this is where it gets incredibly powerful. Take a look at this digital mammogram. A really simple pre-processing trick, just creating a negative of the image, can make these tiny, critical details so much more visible to a doctor or to an AI that's analyzing it. This isn't just some abstract idea. This kind of thing can literally help save lives. Now, this is a really important point. The goal is not to just throw data away. It's more like performing surgery. You want to carefully remove the unwanted distortions and the noise, while at the same time enhancing the features that actually matter for what you're trying to do, like fixing the lighting or standardizing the colors and size.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. What's the main takeaway from all of this?
So here's what it all boils down to. Pre-processing is the essential translator between our messy world and the clean world of the machine. It takes all that raw, chaotic information and turns it into clean, reliable data. And by doing that, it directly makes our AI models more accurate and more reliable, because it helps them focus on the important stuff, the signal, instead of getting lost in all the noise.
Which brings us to one final thought-provoking question. Some people might argue that all this manipulation actually changes the true nature of an image, but others would say it does the opposite, that it actually reveals an image's true nature by stripping away all the irrelevant noise and distractions. So what do you think? Does it distort reality, or does it help clarify it?